Healthy Lifestyle Crib presents 13 ways to tell you have too much stress. Unless you have $1 million stashed away, money is likely one of many sources of stress in your life. Not that the wealthy don't worry, but their concerns typically center on expanding their fortune or preventing its loss. Of course, there are many more sources of stress, but just for a moment imagine you never had to worry about paying your bills, attending classes, or working, and instead had the freedom to do absolutely anything you pleased, without ever having to earn a dime. Anyways, anxiety and tension are feelings that most people experience on a daily basis. Stress is an emotional problem since it is the body's response to what it believes to be an immediate threat. Both adrenaline and cortisol, two stress hormones, are secreted by the neurological system while we're under pressure. Stress is a common problem, yet few people acknowledge they are experiencing it. The good news is that you can learn to recognize the warning signs of stress before it becomes a long-term health issue with the help of this film, so don't expect to discover how to get rich watching it. Always pay attention to your body and learn to recognize the indicators of stress that may be misunderstood as indications of another problem. Number 1. Forgetful. You definitely don't have Alzheimer's if you've been forgetting little things like locking the door and flushing the toilet, but it may be more than just an accident. A lack of focus and the inability to remember things are two symptoms of the mental havoc that stress and worry may produce. Persistent stress can cause the areas of the brain that regulate emotions, memories, and the autonomic nervous system to atrophy. By working out regularly, you can alleviate your tension and put an end to this condition. Number 2. Excessive gain of belly fat. When you're under a lot of pressure, it's normal for your eating habits to shift. You'll gain weight if you eat and drink more. The stress hormone, cortisol, is involved in the body's fight or flight reaction, which prepares you to either fight off an attacker or flee for your life. This is absolutely necessary in the face of imminent danger, but it also happens in reaction to the chronic, everyday stress that most of us experience. Maintaining an elevated cortisol level for an extended period of time is associated with a rise in abdominal adiposity. If you've noticed that your jeans have become too tight despite your best efforts at keeping in shape, stress may be to blame. In this case, a combination of a healthier diet and stress management techniques may be most effective. Number 3. Stomach pain. When you're stressed out, it can disrupt the delicate balance between your nervous system and digestive system. If you ate a taco and now feel nauseous, you should probably visit the restroom. However, if this occurs frequently and you're not eating a lot of tacos, stress may be to blame. Perhaps what's making you queasy isn't just the meal you ate. You can try over-the-counter medications, but exercise is the most effective natural treatment. Number 4. Stiff jaw. You're fine during the day, but you might be grinding your teeth at night when you're sleeping. When you awaken, you won't be aware that it's occurring, but man, your jaw hurts. Now, if you have a black eye, a sore jaw, and no memory of the previous night, it's likely that your drunk ass put you in a precarious circumstance that you wouldn't have been in. Otherwise, stress can be the cause. When you're under stress, it's very typical to grind your teeth, which is really harmful because it can result in dental decay and fractured teeth. The best course of action is to consult a dentist to determine your options. You'll typically be given a mouth guard to prevent grinding. Number 5. Backache. The body's natural response to stress, known as the fight or flight mechanism, causes an elevation in both blood pressure and heart rate and a corresponding increase in the production of the hormone cortisol, which in turn causes muscle contraction. Some people find this to be excruciatingly unpleasant. Be as active as possible. Every half an hour, get up from your desk and go for a little stroll or stretch. To put it bluntly, if your boss is constantly hovering over your shoulder and you can't afford to take a 30-second break to stretch every 30 minutes, maybe it's time to look for a new job. Number 6. Constipation. You know you have to go, but the words won't come. The tacos probably aren't to blame. You could give eating some a shot here. However, stress is almost certainly at blame, and magnesium will help in this case. High magnesium levels are needed for the generation of stress hormones, and stress causes magnesium stores to deplete. You may have low magnesium levels because of your excessive sugar consumption. Magnesium's ability to help the brain and muscles unwind in the face of stress has earned it the nickname, calming mineral. The gastrointestinal system is also included. Whatever the case may be, do everything you can to reduce your sugar intake and increase your intake of healthy foods like spinach, quinoa, almonds, and cashews. Number 7. Dry lips or mouth pain. Since B vitamins are required to extract energy from the carbohydrates, proteins, and fats we eat on a regular basis, this is a classic indicator of vitamin B insufficiency. Anxiety drains your reserves of energy and the vitamin it contains. Serotonin, the hormone responsible for our mood, and dopamine, which regulates sleep, are both products of vitamin B6, as is melatonin, the hormone that helps us get to sleep at night. Bananas, leafy greens, spinach, and potatoes are all good sources of vitamin B6. Number 8. Getting too much sleep. Snooze time equals tension time. The disruption of your normal sleep routine and decrease in your level of awareness during the day are two of the most obvious effects of being exposed to or experiencing stress for an extended length of time. The brain may be forcing you to sleep more so that you can avoid the stresses of the day. Alternately, the stress is making it difficult for you to fall asleep and stay asleep, so even when you do sleep, you don't get the restorative sleep you need. Consistent oversleeping has been related to a variety of medical issues, including diabetes and heart disease, despite the fact that getting a decent night's sleep is crucial to overall health. Consistent bedtimes and morning waking times are recommended by sleep specialists in order to help you achieve the recommended 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. They also say to lay off the caffeine and booze in the hours before bed. You may obtain the rest you need by working out consistently and making your bedroom a relaxing place to be. Number 9. Always have strange dreams. Stress can manifest in the form of strange or recurring dreams. As a result, you'll be on edge and worried. Try to identify any new sources of stress in your life if you suddenly find that you dream, or remember your dreams, when you previously didn't. This may be the final straw. Number 10. Unable to fall asleep. If you're having difficulties sleeping and you know that caffeine isn't the problem, then it's time to address your stress levels. The inability to fall or stay asleep is another negative consequence of stress. Studies show that stress significantly raises the odds of this occurring, 19%. Worry prevents your neurological system from going to sleep, so you end up exhausted. Without any downtime, your mind remains in a state of constant activity. Put in some time to just relaxing. People who suffer from insomnia require a buffer zone, or a period of time during which the brain's activation mechanisms can deactivate. Because of this, the alerting mechanisms can slow down and let the sleep systems take control. The process of winding down should begin 2 hours prior to bedtime. Immediately hang up the phone, log off the computer, and stop whatever you're doing. Try relaxing in front of a humorous movie, reading a good book, or listening to soothing music instead. Number 11. Having trouble focusing. Do you consider yourself someone who performs well under pressure? You might, but the vast majority of people don't. That's not something I have. Even if you do, it won't last for long. Brain chemicals produce adrenaline to temporarily heighten your senses and help you maintain focus. Unfortunately, the longer you keep it, the more harm you will inflict. Long-term exposure to adrenaline causes an increase in sensory awareness and sensitivity, which can be distracting. Avoid mental stagnation by diverting your attention away from a predicament you can't change. Make a mental shift. Yoga, deep breathing, meditation, or even just sharing a good laugh with a pal can all be effective coping mechanisms. Purposefully occupying oneself with something pleasurable is the purpose here. By doing so will give us the strength to reorganize when the time comes. Number 12. You think about your issues non-stop. Regardless of the subject matter, you can't seem to stop thinking about it. Whether it's stress about money, strained relationships, or something else entirely. This is a red flag that tension is becoming too much for you to handle. When you worry excessively, your mind and body go into overdrive because you are so preoccupied with the negative consequences of whatever it is that you are worried about, that could happen, yet, until you can separate yourself emotionally from the issue at hand and think more objectively, you will not be able to reach a resolution. There's stress, and you need to figure out how to alleviate it. Try giving yourself 15 minutes a day to think about your issues and anxieties, and then promising to put them out of your mind forever as the clock runs out. If they feel themselves slipping into a negative thought pattern, some people wear a rubber band on their wrist and snap it in a state of anxiety. Use your best judgment. Number 13. Your tolerance is being tested. One of the earliest warning signs that stress is beginning to take its toll is when you find yourself becoming less patient with everyone around you, including those you truly care about. We often externalize our negative emotions, taking them out on those close to us to make sure they get released. This usually has a negative impact. Let others know you're stressed if you find yourself becoming short or irritable around them, and think about if you would benefit from asking for assistance if you're unable to handle stress on your own. If any of these feelings are all too familiar, it's time to take a look of your life and identify the sources of your stress so you can learn to manage them. Taking care of yourself is essential since prolonged stress has negative effects on both mental and physical health. Although stress is inescapable, it can be handled in a healthy way to lessen its negative consequences. Methods to alleviate stress include physical activity, such as walking, running, yoga, or meditation, a balanced diet, and, if at all possible, avoiding the stressor itself. If you're looking for ways to relax, subscribe to our channel and tell us in the comments what's got you worked up.